Hello, my lovely friends. Another week has passed, and it felt like this one went by really quickly. We have been doing a eclectic assortment of things, which I think is what made the time pass so fast. We began this week with studying Överhogdalsbonaderna, which is the Swedish equivalent of the biotapestry. Anyway, uh, however, the biotapestry is an embroidery and these have been woven. So they date back to sometime about 1100 or a bit before the 1100. And that's a long time ago. That is almost 1,000 years old, which is old. And it's four tapestries, which depicts, we don't really know. Maybe it's Ragnarök, maybe it's some kind of biblical story, maybe it's something else. Maybe my suggestion was that the woman, it was definitely a woman, making these just made whatever she liked. Like, I feel like making a bunch of horses and moose and other animals and animals that are made up because I like it. And sometimes maybe she was stressed, having lots of kids running around or whatever, so you can see that, oh, here's definitely a mistake, right? Is this supposed to look like this? I don't think so. Anyway, they are really fascinating, and I do suggest that you read a bit about them, and if you have the opportunity, visit Jamtli and look at them. It's exquisite. I was at Jamtli 2 years ago and looked at them, and it was really one of those moments when you feel history. It was kind of awesome. And then, so we didn't go to Jamtli, by the way. Instead, we went to Överhogdal, where the tapestries were found about 100 years ago. So they don't have the actual tapestries there. Instead, they have replicas which have been made by a person who has been working here at the school. And they are very exact replicas indeed. It was very time-consuming work, but she did it, which is really, really applaudable. And then it became Tuesday, which was the UN Day. I don't know if any of you out there celebrates the UN Day. They make it a thing here. So we had Mending Stuff Day. So I was sewing bits of a tent together. It was broken. Very large cotton canvas tent. And while I was doing this, white canvas, I managed to cut my hand somewhat, only a bit, slightly, on one of the needles. So I still have, yeah, you can see that, some traces of that in my hand. So it's not a tent without holes in it, but it's also somewhat coated in blood. So if there's ever a murder here and they trace DNA and they're going to be, there's hand all over this. Anyway, then it became Wednesday. We did some sewing again. So first I attempted to make another mitten, another toile of a mitten, and it just didn't work. I'm going to blame the pattern. The pattern was wrong. So I got disinterested and said, no, I don't want it anymore. Put it away. And then I made a hat. And being a Hannah, I don't follow instructions. I make my own patterns. So I came up with this. Look at that. Look at that 90s curtain turned into something that looks like maybe a shower cap, but with a star shape to it. Oh yes, I'm going to spin around here for you. Look at that. That's ridiculous. I liked it. I was fairly pleased with it. And next day, we were supposed to, well, I don't know if we were supposed to, but we were encouraged to make a small project out of the fabric that we dyed earlier. If you remember, we did a natural herbal textile dyeing. Second week, I think it was. Yeah, early on. And then all of us got to pick one piece of fabric and 3 balls of yarn. And I decided to turn this fabric, my very own hand-dyed fabric, into Hannah's flower bud hat. Ta-da! Which can also be called Hannah's starfish hat. And I am fine with both. Look at that. So pretty much all of the fabric went to the hat. I had barely anything left once all of these pieces were cut out. Look at that. You can wear it like a beret style thing. Exciting. Hair everywhere. Yeah, so I felt that that was a good economic use of the fabric as such. And then I found just a strip of grey and turn it into the headband around, to have 2 layers over my ears above all. This is quite warm and nice, and I mean the winter here gets really cold. And spin around for you. I have no idea what you can see right now, but you're welcome. Anyway, whoop. Sorry about that. Okay. Sorry. And then what? Then what happened? Oh yeah. Then we have been whipping wool today. This wasn't something I had heard about. This wasn't something I knew about. But apparently one way of preparing wool, which is traditionally used in Mongolia, is to whip it. And then just whip it with sticks. So we've been sitting 4 people around a small pile of wool and just hitting it with sticks. Like that. You're sort of whisking the wool, trying to separate it. I did it for maybe a minute, and then my wrist started to hurt, so I stopped and documented the other ones doing it instead. It was quite fun, not very efficient. We did not get any usable wool out of it. We tried spinning a bit of it after we had been hitting it, beating it, whipping it for a bit. But no, it wasn't separated enough. Although they were beating it really furiously. But no. So maybe they have different kind of wool in Mongolia. And maybe the texture that wool actually gets is sufficient for making a yurt. I don't know. Never made a yurt. So that was fascinating. Anyway, so if you know anything about beating wool with sticks, hit me up. Let me know. What's your experience? How did you do? How do you do it? What kind of sticks do you use? What kind of motions do you do for whipping it? And so on. So yeah, that's it. That's my week. I'm going to see if I manage to paste in the video of them doing the whipping and beating into this one technology. Well, that's going to be a separate video. I go on vacation now. So we have a school holiday for 1 week. So next week there will be no vlog, nothing. But then I'm back again, week 45. With new stuff, new adventures. I have no idea what we're going to be. Oh yes, I do have an idea what we're going to be up to. We're going to be sewing. I'm going to make those Victorian cycling bloomers. It's going to be exciting. I hope I can find some fabric for that tomorrow at Stockholm Sewing Festival. All right, see you, bye!
Fina små dörren. De hade nog kikat ut lite under dörren också, fast hon var jätteförsiktig. Och den var helt fantastisk, alltså den var helt fantastisk.
Nu måste vi göra det.